Hi, I'm Afie, and this is the Atlantic Salmon Federation's autocomplete interview. All right, so what do? I just read them off the cards, or? Okay, great. Hand them over. Where did Afie go to school? Well, it's been widely documented that my academic career is less than stellar. Several years ago, I was offered an honorary diploma from Barrie Central Collegiate. And it was actually really nice. My mother was there, and one of my daughters was there, and you know, it was just lovely to be able to include my family in that and to be recognized for that. But it was pretty scary looking at my transcript. They printed it out for me. Oh my gosh, did I ever spend a lot of time by the dumpsters rolling up doobies. Not good. Stay in school. Why is Afie not famous? Well, that kind of hurts. It sort of stings a little bit, doesn't it? But you know, I think the real answer is I've never had a hit song. I've never had a big song on the radio that, you know, sort of defined me. And in the early days, maybe I struggled with that a little bit, but you know, as I get in sort of the twilight of my career, it's actually become a wonderful thing, because now when I go and play shows, the audience is wide open, they're so generous, and I can play whatever I want. And as a performer, that's just a wonderful position to be in. So, you know, I'm kind of happy not to be famous, frankly. It just allows me to make more interesting art and music and not be tied to one thing. But I'd still like to be famous. Why is Afie so unsuccessful? Geez, it's a double whammy today. Are you serious? Somebody wrote that? Well, here's what I'd say to you, whoever wrote that, okay? Success is defined by no one but me. I get to define my success the same way you get to define success for you. I get to play music and travel the world with some of the best people, my friends, my band, my crew, and we spend all day cracking jokes and laughing, and at the end of the day, I get to play music with those people and connect with audiences in Australia and Japan and Germany, in the United States, and all across Canada. And then I get to come home to my wonderful family and live in Nova Scotia and go swimming in the ocean. Trust me, I already defined success. I'm there, okay? So screw you off. I can't even. I hope you're successful in whatever it is you're doing, young man. Is Afie actually a sad hunk? Well, that's the big question, isn't it? A lot of people are asking that these days. It's true, I've been sad in my life. I would never call myself a hunk. My wife, in the early days when I started playing, I was on the cover of this paper in Toronto, and a photographer sent over a bunch of images from our photo shoot, and they were all sort of moody, brooding photographs. That's the first thing my wife said, "Ooh, sad hunk." Because, you know, the paper had almost decided in advance about how they were going to frame my music and my album and all that, and this photo was a part of that. And we laughed about it at the time, but ever since then, it's sort of just become a nickname. And I think enough years have gone by, and I'm really willing to embrace that nickname for the purposes of comedy and art. So yes, and I think there's sad hunks all around, right? We're all kind of beautifully broken, aren't we? All right. Does Afie actually fish? Yes, I do. A big part of the draw to Nova Scotia is, of course, the salmon fishing. Wonderful salmon rivers here. I've fished all over the world. I fished in New Zealand and the Bow River in Alberta, and did fishing in Ontario when I lived there. But I really like the fly fishing. There's something that happens when you're casting a fly rod, and it's the same thing that happens when I'm on stage playing music or in the studio playing with musicians. And what happens when you're casting a fly rod and everything comes together beautifully and the line just goes straight out and you get a perfect drift and you actually see the fish come up and take the fly, you get about 10-15 seconds where you're awake and you're conscious, but your mind is totally blank. And I guess you could call that Zen. And I think people pay big bucks and travel all over the world trying to get that feeling. And I'm able to get there with music, and I'm able to get there with fishing. And I hope everybody has something in their life that allows them to reach that place, because it's a wonderful place when the mind is completely empty and you're engaged and you're you're focused, but it's not happening here. It's happening in the soul. And for me, fishing is a big part of that. So the answer is yes, I do actually fish. And it's almost fishing. See, it's almost October, so no more press in October. All right, Robbie? All right, well, that wraps it up. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I'd like to thank the Atlantic Salmon Federation for including me in this broadcast. And I hope something that I said was even remotely interesting, because to me, it was incredibly boring. Have a great day.